Greetings and salutations. Thank you for lending an ear to the Voice of the Times, brought to you this Thursday, February 24, 2022, by Wilcon Depot, the country's leading home improvement and construction supplies retailer. Shop conveniently 24/7 with Wilcon online store. Just go to shop.wilcon.com.ph. For today's editorial, Philippine auto industry facing uncertain prospects in 2022. The local automotive sector has been an economic bright spot for the Philippines for a number of years, and as the country begins to climb out of the hole created by the coronavirus pandemic, we expect the industry to once again be a key driver of growth. In order to fulfill that role, however, it will have to adjust to an economic environment that is likely to be more challenging than may have been anticipated. On Tuesday, Fitch Solutions Country Risk and Industry Research hosted a webinar in which expert analysts share their outlook for 2022 for the automotive, infrastructure, and energy sectors. The latter two were also enlightening and will be worth discussing another time. But our main interest for now is the automotive industry, given its importance in the Philippines. The industry supports a complex supply chain, and with it, a significant number of good-paying jobs represents one of the bigger sources of trade in durable goods in the country, and accounts for a considerable amount of commerce for the financial sector. The auto sector was hit hard, as most sectors were, by the recession of 2020, but saw some recovery in 2021. With the coronavirus pandemic clearly waning, 2022 then looks to be the first normal year for the business. In past years, the economic performance of the auto sector has closely matched that of the overall economy, to the extent that it can be considered a reasonably good indicator of how things will progress for the entire country. The outlook from the Fitch experts, however, while not exactly negative, suggests that in order to be successful, the automotive industry will have to manage some significant challenges in 2022. One considerable problem is persistent supply chain problems that began last year, particularly in the supply of computer chips, which has not yet caught up to demand for them, and may not throughout the rest of the year. Due to limited supply of chips, manufacturers are prioritizing that supply for higher-end models, which is going to constrain the biggest part of the Philippine market, made up of the more economic models. Supply chain constraints are also affecting the growing market for electric vehicles, or EVs, which are increasingly in demand due to high fuel prices and increasing public awareness of the need for more environmental sustainability. The prices of key material inputs such as copper, lithium, and cobalt have skyrocketed over the past year, which has had two effects. First, it has increased the prices of conventional lithium-ion batteries, using nickel, manganese, and cobalt, used in almost every electric vehicle. And second, it has spurred development in alternative technologies such as lithium iron phosphate or LFP batteries, which use less costly materials. EVs are as yet poorly incentivized in the Philippines in terms of government regulation, financial incentives, or incentives to expand EV charging station infrastructure. And so, while demand exists and is growing, the auto sector may struggle to take advantage of it. All in all, Fitch sees growth in auto sales this year, with all the ancillary economic activity that implies, but at a slower pace than in 2021, which of course was somewhat artificially inflated due to the low base effect of a decidedly awful 2020. That is not welcome news for the Philippine auto industry or the economy in general, but should be considered an opportunity rather than a negative outlook. First, the automotive industry should collaborate with the government and related sectors such as the semiconductor and electronics industry to encourage development of homegrown solutions to problems such as shortages of computer chips and expensive batteries. Second, the automotive sector should maximize the market for used vehicles. With the constraints on the new car market, the second-hand market is going to be a winner this year, and every vehicle that can be repurposed is one less new one added to our already crowded roads, while still creating a new customer. Finally, the government needs to develop a clear and workable policy for expanding EV infrastructure and real incentives for encouraging their use, rather than treating EVs as inconsequential. And that's editorial for Thursday, February 24, 2022. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to our digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and listen to the Voice of the Times.